Coping with COVID and In It Together SC present Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina and DHEC's Division of Diabetes and Heart Disease Management.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor, and today Dr. Daniel Lackland talks about heart health. Is your heart healthy? Do you know how you can find out how you feel or what you need to do? We'll talk to Dr. Daniel Lackland with MUSC a little bit later on. Also, do you know what to do with your old prescriptions? Do you know that you shouldn't just throw them out? Emmanuel Durant joins us with the Bureau of Chronic Disease and Injury Prevention. Thank you, Ms. Durant, so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. She's going to join us next to talk about National Take Back Day. All of that and so much more coming up next on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. But first, your COVID community updates. The SC Stay Plus program will be in Orangeburg Friday. They will offer rent and bill assistance to anyone 12 months behind on rent and utilities back to March of 2020. Staff will be at the Orangeburg Library from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. this Friday to help you apply for the funds. For more information, contact 803-336-3430. Lexington School District 2 is holding a career fair from 4 until 6 next Tuesday, May 3rd at the Innovation Center in Casey. There are openings for teachers, assistants, substitutes, counselors, psychologists, also librarians, nurses, bus drivers, maintenance staff, speech teachers, and more. There is a $2,500 signing bonus which is offered. If you want more information, you can register at lex2.org. And organizers for Famously Hot New Year's Eve say after 10 years, they will no longer do the festival. After bringing tens of thousands of people to the capital city, the president of the board, Sam Johnson, offered no explanation as to why the premier New Year's Eve festival will end, but encouraged people to create new family traditions that include what the city has to offer. SCDHEC has your most up-to-date list of times, dates, and location for COVID testing and also vaccinations in and around South Carolina. Visit scdhec.gov for more information. You can still get your 5 free rapid self-tests by logging on to covidtest.gov. Even if you got your first 5, you are eligible to go on the website and apply for 4 additional ones. COVID vaccinations are being held once again throughout the state of South Carolina. Now, if you're a veteran, you should go to the VA to get your COVID vaccination and many of your tests. You can see that information on the screen. Kroger pharmacies are among the many retailers that are offering COVID vaccines. You can stop by Kroger pharmacies. You can check the screen for more details. CVS is also offering vaccines, and that includes the locations that are located in Target stores. Walgreens is offering COVID vaccines and also free N95 masks. The Brooklyn Baptist Church Vaccine Center is open 7 days a week in West Columbia, South Carolina. You can stop by there. And if you need a COVID vaccination and don't have a ride, the Comet bus system is offering free rides to get your Comet vaccine. You can catch the Comet and don't miss your shot. As a matter of fact, the Comet bus system also has vaccines that are available at their main location at the corner of Sumter and Laurel Street. Online registration is available at Get Set Up. If you or someone you know is technologically challenged, or a senior citizen, they can call Get Set Up and they will help them get set up to make their vaccine appointment or get their COVID test. There are several financial resources are available. FEMA is continuing to give COVID funeral reimbursements. If you lost a loved one or know someone who has, you can get a reimbursement from FEMA. Also, SC Bar Association at SC Legal Services has a toll-free number and website for rental and mortgage help. Also, the Lexington County still has a bill assistance program. SC Housing and Dominion Energy are continuing their energy rental and utilities assistance program. And if you or someone you know is still having a challenge coping with COVID, the South Carolina Department of Mental Health has a 24-hour assistance line, SC Hopes. Please utilize their services if you need them. Now, the Brooklyn Lakeview Empowerment Center is continuing to hold registration for free diabetes management classes. They're going to happen beginning next month in May, and you can register now. And there are several job opportunities available. Like I mentioned, Lexington 2 is doing their job fair next week. Spectrum and the City of Columbia are both holding open houses every Wednesday from 8 until 11 at 2198 Colonial Drive. And don't forget about Regional Medical Center in Orangeburg. They're offering a 50% discount on unpaid bills. We told you about that last week. You can call the number on the screen, 800-905-7561 or 803-809-3883. Now, all of that information will be scrolling at the bottom of the screen throughout the show. So please post and share this information out so we can get the message to the masses. I'm Tre Tailor, and you're watching Coping with COVID from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. They sponsor Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. And we're actually streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. Not only will you be able to get notifications as to when to watch Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID, but they have got so many great resources on that website and on the Facebook page, tips for healthy eating, healthy living, and where you can sign up for a virtual or in-person diabetes prevention program. Someplace where you can get tips, get information, get resources, and most of all, get a support system to help you with your diabetes or pre-diabetes. Now, we're also streaming live on the TailorMade production page on Facebook. That's the home of Coping with COVID. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. Again, get notifications as to when we go live Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But also, there are so many great resources on that page about COVID and more. We're streaming live on the TailorMade production page, also on YouTube. There you can find past episodes of Coping with COVID and Coping with Tre Tailor. Been doing the show since March of 2020 when the pandemic first hit. So we've got so much content over there, so many interviews for you to check out. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. I'm Tre Tailor, and you are watching Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. Please don't forget to like and share and post and follow. And if you have a question or a comment, please make it in the comment section right there to the right. Michelle Harris is watching. And Michelle, I sent the link. Please check your email. I sent the link. Please check your email. All right. So listen. Do you have old prescriptions in your cabinet? Well, I do. I don't know what I'm waiting for to do something with them, but I don't know what you're going to do with them. But did you know that you should throw them out? But is there a right way? Well, Emmanuel Durant is the communications director with the Bureau of Chronic Disease and Injury Prevention. She joins us to discuss Take Back Day. Emmanuel, we're going to do a quick commercial break before we come to you so that I can resend Michelle the link for our next guest. Okay. So we're going to take one break, Charity. We're going to play the 60-second Kim Akins commercial and come right back with Emmanuel Durant. That's next on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Aiken Cockrum. I was Miss America in 1994. As a result of that, I had to learn at a very early age that it's important to take care of my health, to get enough rest, to eat a balanced diet, and to get exercise. Those are principles that I still live by today. Take a moment to visit inittogethersc.org to take an online test to find out if you're at risk of prediabetes and how to join a diabetes prevention program that takes the guesswork out of losing weight, eating better, and being more active. You can learn new ways to stay healthy and sustain those changes over time. When you join, you'll get support from a trained lifestyle coach to help you set and achieve realistic goals. Go to inittogethersc.org. Brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. We are streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. We're also streaming live on the In It Together YouTube channel where you can find more information about the Diabetes Action Council and In It Together SC. We're also streaming live on the Tailor-Made Production page on Facebook. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow also, and get all types of great information. We're also streaming live on the YouTube channel and also on Instagram and on Twitter. As I said, it is National Take Back Day this Saturday, and Emmanuel Durant joins us. She's Communications Director with the Bureau of Chronic Disease and Injury Prevention. Thank you so much for joining us today, Emmanuel.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So listen, I said before that, and I've got a lot of prescriptions. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking, why do I have these old prescriptions in my cabinet? I mean, I don't know, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I'm just being transparent.
Right.
I don't know if I'm thinking I can save this for the next time.
Right. Because they're so expensive, right?
They're so expensive. I guess I don't even know if I thought about that, but I certainly did think it would be more convenient just to save it. So tell me, when should we stop taking our meds? Like, do prescriptions have an expiration date? I'm sure they do.
Yes, prescriptions do have an expiration date, but first and foremost, it is very important to talk to your healthcare provider. Talk to a doctor before you go tossing any medications out. Even if you feel like you're feeling better, your body's doing better, first talk to your doctor before you do that.
Right. So first of all, before you throw it out or save it for the next time,
right?
Call your doctor and say.
Yes.
What do we ask? Do we ask how long should I keep it, or if I can take it again? What's the question we should ask our doctor?
Well, first of all, after you discuss, symptoms and things of the sort, say, hey, should I keep taking this? And yes, there's an expiration date, but usually with prescriptions, if you're feeling better, there's no need to keep it in the cabinet, especially if you're doing better and your doctor has said that you can stop taking it. So if the doctor says stop taking it, then it's time to throw it out.
Then it's time to throw it out. Don't save it for the next time.
Do not save it for the next time, or for your uncle, or for your auntie, or none of that.
Well, you make a good point, because oftentimes people do share prescriptions, and you say what?
I say, please don't do that, because medication is specific to your body, and you don't want to give, your uncle or an aunt medication and it has adverse effects for them. And so that just creates a whole lot of chaos. And how do you explain that? You went to the doctor, or you go to the hospital and say, hey, I gave my uncle or my aunt my codeine, and that can put you in a lot of trouble. So let's just toss it. Yeah,
because they may have a condition or a allergy or something
correct
that you don't have, that
correct.
the doctor didn't prescribe just for you. Absolutely. Not for everybody in your family,
not for everybody at home. Nope.
Right. So we shouldn't keep them for later. And you say we should throw them out unless the doctor says it's okay, as soon as we finish taking the medication.
As soon as you finish taking them, yes, correct.
Some medicine actually has that on it. My two babies had a strep throat 2 weeks ago. One had it, and then the other one got it, of course, because they're eating it behind each other. But I remember, the little pink antibiotic that they give them, and it says throw out the remainder of, and it,
Absolutely.
But listen, girl, it was a lot less.
I know, right? I hear you.
Everything I had to throw it out, because I felt like I was wasting it.
We do, right? But it's very important to listen and to read those directions, because they are there for a reason, for our safety, as well as the safety of other family members around us.
Right. Someone says that older folks mean well by sharing medicine, but it's so dangerous. Yeah, you're right. People, because as you said, Emmanuel, prescriptions are so expensive, and a lot of people can't afford their prescriptions.
Unfortunately.
So, like you said, I think people mean well, but it is so dangerous.
They do, but it's very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah. Yes. Emmanuel Durant joins us. She's Communications Director with the Bureau of Chronic Disease and Injury Prevention, and we're talking about National Take Back Day. So what happens when we dispose of meds incorrectly?
So a lot of times, so we think about the EPA, for example. The EPA would rather we have disposal collection sites where you can go and drop your medications off for proper disposal. But sometimes, like we, put things down the drain, and that's completely okay. But you have to be very careful about that, because the things that go down the drain go into, the drainage system and rivers and things of the sort. So those are things to think about. And with improper disposal, depending on where you're disposing it, someone can take a hold of that medication, right? And before you know it, you have drug abuse, drug misuse, and selling of these on the street. It's illegal, right?
Yeah.
And so that you're literally thinking of a domino effect, right? And what you thought was, oh, I'm just going to toss this out, becomes something completely different, even after you've improperly disposed of that medication.
Right. Yeah, that you make such a great point. You're right. If you're just throwing it in the trash, we have a lot of people that are homeless, or just want to look through the trash for old medicines. Like you said, just sell it online. Again, if somebody takes it, now you have, a disaster on your hands.
Disaster.
So there is a right way and a wrong way to dispose of meds then.
Absolutely. Absolutely, there are. And to be able to find out more information about how to properly do so, whether it's with pills that can go into like coffee grounds or things like that for disposal, you can actually go to the DEA's website at www.deatakeback.com, and it will have a list of how to dispose a lot of medications and how to properly do so.
Right. Now, this is the website here. We see that there are several things. Of course, it's talking about National Take Back Day, but it's also talking about treatment information, resources, and of course, DEA Take Back Day is this Saturday. So tell us a little bit about what happens. And it's a monthly, a yearly event, an annual event. Tell us what happens on DEA Take Back Day.
Well, thank you. So with DEA Take Back Day, it happens twice a year, once in April and once in October. And like you said, this year, for the April one, it's happening this Saturday, April 30th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And with that, DHEC is actually, encouraging South Carolina residents to participate in this event. So what you do is you go on the DEA website and you put in your zip code, and you can go on there, and it'll tell you where your closest location is to go drop off your medications.
Okay, so you can go to the website that we had the website up. Go to the website, and you can actually put in your zip code. We can see it right here. Yeah, you can put in your zip code, and it will tell you. You can see that right there. Your zip code, your county, your city, your state. And you can search within 10, 25, 50, or even 100-mile radius, and it will show you where you can go to safely dispose of your medication.
Correct.
And many of those places are where, Emmanuelle?
Oh my gosh, nationwide. So we've got, I went on there because I too, unfortunately, have medications at home that I need to dispose of, right? So I went on there, and Prisma has a location, Lexington Medical Hospital has a location. They're literally everywhere, nationwide.
All right. So I just put in my zip code, Richland County, Columbia, South Carolina, and I hit the submit button, and I'm going to just see where it comes up, where people can go if they live in 29204, and that's where I'm in 29204. It's coming up a little bit. It's going to take a minute here, but and then we can find out from there exactly where we can go. Okay, I see the site. Let me see if I can. Yeah, share this tab instead. And I don't know if people can see. It's kind of small, but it says you can go to the Forest Acres Police Department. So many places. Fort Jackson Police Department, Prisma Health, as you said, West Columbia Police Department, Lexington County Health Services, West Columbia Police Department, Richland County Sheriff's Department, Springdale Police Department. And that's just for me. I live in 29204. So these are just areas in the neighborhood where I am.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah.
And so do you just put them in a bag and drop them off?
Yes, you do that. And so what I would suggest is if you have like pill bottles, make sure that you take any identifiable things off of there, like your names or birth dates, scratch them off of there. Or if you can even peel them off, go ahead and do that, because you want to keep your information, private and safe. So once you peel those off, you just take all of those medications, put them in a Ziploc bag, and take them to the collection site. No questions asked, because some of those locations are at like police departments and things.
Right.
And so you may have people that are kind of apprehensive about taking medication there, but no questions asked, because what they're really focused on is safe disposal of these meds and getting them off the street.
Absolutely. People can go to the website. Once again, as Emmanuel said, put in your zip code, your county, your city, your state, and then they'll give you a list. There was about 10 or 12 places there that was, on the website. And as Emmanuel said, take off all of your personal information. So could they just put them all in a bag and take them over there?
Yes, they sure can. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but whatever you do, just take your old prescriptions there, so that they don't get into the hands of someone else who, one, doesn't need them, could get hurt, or could, like Emmanuel said, resell them to someone else,
or even start taking them. Because that's how drug abuse and starts. Addiction. Yeah. So.
And you're right. And that's the big thing about it. This is a gateway. It could open the door to so many other things. Someone just because if someone gets a hold of some pain pills or something like that,
Yep. Especially when you think about opioids, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's a big problem in our community right now, opioid use.
It is. Yeah.
And it starts with something small and can end up with something big. Emmanuel Durant joins us. She is with the Bureau of Chronic Disease and Injury Prevention. We're talking about Take Back Day. Someone says, you're such a great asset to our team, Emmanuel. They said she needs to be a regular on the show. She can be a regular on the show. We would love to have her to come and join some great, to share some great stuff. So again, what happens now, Emmanuel, if someone is not able to do this Saturday? What is some other options for them?
Well, thank you. So the great thing about this is that the DEA and that website that we were just talking about has a whole list of locations that anyone can go and put in that zip code, like you were saying, and find locations near you even after the Saturday date.
Okay. So people can still go to the website.
Absolutely. Year round, and then find out where they can go to drop off medications safely and soundly anytime, even if you are unable to do it this Saturday. National Take Back Day is this Saturday. As Emmanuel says, it's twice a year. But if you're unable to do it Saturday, please go to DEA.gov/takebackday and make sure that you find out the location nearest you that you can take back your prescriptions. Emmanuel Durant is with the Bureau of Chronic Disease and Injury Prevention. Hey, Emmanuel, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing this important and needed information. Thank you for having me.
Really a real thing. And like I said, I'm sure people got a bunch of stuff in their cabinet. Absolutely. It's just not me. So
absolutely. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. Right.
Once again, thank you so much. Once again, don't forget to go to that website, find out where you can go to take back your prescriptions safely and soundly. Together, SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. Coming up next, Dr. Daniel Lackland, epidemiologist with MUSC, talks about heart health. That's next on Coping with COVID.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Aiken-Cockrum. I was Miss America in 1994. As a result of that, I had to learn at a very early age that it's important to take care of my health, to get enough rest, to eat a balanced diet, and to get exercise. Those are principles that I still live by today. Take a moment to visit inittogethersc.org to take an online test to find out if you're at risk of prediabetes and how to join a diabetes prevention program that takes the guesswork out of losing weight, eating better, and being more active. You can learn new ways to stay healthy and sustain those changes over time. When you join, You'll get support from a trained lifestyle coach to help you set and achieve realistic goals. Go to inittogethersc.org. Brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday life. But when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Together, SC and the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. We are streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page and the In It Together YouTube channel. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow, and find out about a diabetes prevention program near you. It's a great way to start making changes in your life. They'll give you information, access, support, and so much more. Join the In It Together Facebook page, the website, and the YouTube channel, and check it out. Don't forget to like and share and follow. We're also streaming live on the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook. Please go over there too, hit like and share and follow. Get notifications as to when we go live every Wednesday on Wellness Wednesday, and then on Thursday and Friday, and also on the YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button. We would love for you to do that. All of the past shows from the last 2 years are there. So much great content and resources. So please check that out too. We also have a presence on Instagram and on Twitter. Dr. Daniel Lackland joins us. He's an epidemiologist at MUSC, and today we are talking about heart health. Hey, Dr. Lackland, so great to see you again. Hadn't seen you in a while.
No, Tre, it's great to be here. Great to see you.
Thank you. So great to see you too. So listen, how significant is heart health today?
Okay, Trace, even more so than we've got there. We're getting over COVID a little bit, right? We might be hopefully heading in the right type of direction. So with that, in one sense, we had all this heart disease built up, all these strokes built up, waiting to kind of happen, and we need to now put our foot back on the gas and really let's do something to prevent strokes and from heart attacks from occurring and heart disease. That's the major reason most of us pass away in this world. We all know somebody with heart disease and stroke, but the exciting piece is that we know that we can do something about it.
Yeah. So heart disease and stroke, heart attacks and stroke, those are the two main things with heart disease, correct?
That's what we typically think about, one of those occasions. In South Carolina, we all know we have a little, for all the reasons that we all know, lifestyle and things, maybe even in some genetics, but we know that our risk is greater. And we know that we have more heart attacks, more strokes than you do in other parts of the country. And unfortunately, we have them at earlier ages. But we also know that we can do something about that. We can join hands and we can do something about it. And we can really be a place to live for a long time. And we know what to do.
So Dr. Lackland, is there a specific demo that heart health is prevalent for than another demo? Men, women, black, white?
It varies all the way through. So certainly it appears, in particular with stroke, we see African Americans tend to have a higher risk. Men tend to have a higher risk than women, almost across the boards. And you can look at this and in one sense, but it's that age piece that I think is the most that we should take note of. Some people, certainly young people, think, oh, well, strokes are something old people have.
Right.
And so they look at me and watch me wait till we have my stroke. But they need to be thinking earlier on. In our population, we unfortunately have people in their 30s and 40s that are having heart attacks and strokes that truly they should be having in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. And so we need to be aware at all ages of these risks and what we can do about heart attacks and strokes, and recognize that this is something for all of us to think about, regardless of our demographics. This is an issue for all of us.
Why is it that younger people are now starting to be at risk?
It's a wonderful question, and I think it's probably all of those things that we saw before. A while back, things like obesity, it used to be, you hate to say back in the day, but, it used to be decades ago. We don't see the obesity rates like we're seeing now. And
Right.
now you see adolescents and children that are obese. They're just really not eating a good diet, and they're not getting exercise, things that we know that we've talked about. So there's nothing secret there. So what they're seeing is that these risk factors are being brought on at an earlier age, and therefore you're starting to see the outcomes that we typically thought. Usually if we think about, let's just say 40, 50 years ago, you started getting fat when you were in your 40s and 50s, and then you had your heart attacks right after that. Now you're seeing children that are obese, and they're starting to build up those risks for heart attacks and strokes that now you're seeing in your 30s and 40s.
Yeah, Dr. Daniel Lackland joins us. He is an epidemiologist at MUSC. We're talking about heart health. Michelle, I see your question, and I'm going to come to it in just a minute. I want to ask, though, first, Dr. Lackland, what are some of the things that people are doing? And you mentioned, obviously, genetics plays a part, which, I always say is so unfortunate, because you could be doing everything right over here,
Sure.
but because your grandmama had it, you could, you have a propensity of having it also. And of course, as you say, diet and exercise has a lot to do with it. Let's talk a little bit about, for those people who don't understand or don't know, what is it? What are we eating that we shouldn't eat, and doing that we shouldn't do?
Trey, I agree with you, but I think most of us kind of know, myself included. And you are right. So we already know we kind of have a little bit of a genetic, or we're more predisposed to having a heart attack and stroke.
Yeah.
So you need to look at me and say, Dan, you're already at greater risk. You need to be extra careful and extra work of what you need to do. We know the fruits and vegetables, less fat foods, fast foods, less of the high salty foods that some of us can't wait to salt our food down. We're getting too much salt, blood pressure goes up and and being aware of things like our blood pressure. So even though I might be in my 20s, or I might even be in my teens, I should be able to tell you what my blood pressure is. It's a simple measurement. It's free. You can get it done all over the place. And just like you say, how much do you weigh? I can tell you how much I weigh. I should be able to tell you what my blood pressure is, and being aware of that, and being aware of what makes my blood pressure go up. For that matter, what about my diabetes risk? Understanding what my numbers are, just like all the folks on your show have said, being aware, taking that responsibility onto myself. I'm going to be the one that's going to lower my risk.
Right. Yeah. Michelle wants to know about exercise. She says, can you exercise too much for your heart, or is all movement good movement? Thank you, Michelle, for your question.
It's a fabulous question, Michelle, and you know that's spot on. Certainly, all kinds of things. You don't want me to go out right now and start running a marathon or start running sprints. That's not healthy for anybody, probably. But to take it gradually. And one thing that has been found, and the reason the question is so spot on, is what the major risk factor that we have in South Carolina for all of us, men, women, all of us, is that sedentary lifestyle. Those are people that get basically no exercise at all. They sit in front of the TV or sit in front of the computer and are really not doing anything. And those are the people at the absolute greatest risk. So if you use it like that, just doing anything, if I'm just sitting here moving my arms around, getting up, walking, I'm not in that category anymore. All I have to do is 10 minutes of that, of walking around or doing something, some type of activity every day, 10 minutes. And I'm not
10
sedentary.
minutes.
And so, yes. And so now already I'm addressing these issues. Certainly, the more that you can comfortably do, I always say, the worst thing that you can tell me is get me to do something that really hurts or I'm not enjoying or comfortable. So not that, but walking around, kind of standing, walking, moving my arms about, getting a little bit of fresh air is a very important in a safe environment is something that I think we can all do. And it doesn't cost anything.
Right, right. Thank you, Michelle, for your question. Dr. Lackland, I mean, 10 minutes is nothing. And I'm thinking, don't we deserve 10 minutes? Isn't your life worth 10 minutes?
Absolutely. And sometimes all of us the same way. I've had days, you have moments, hours, whatever, where you just say, I need to get out. And that's right. Get out, kind of walk around, commune with the Lord, whatever you do, and take that time to really just be active while I do that. And 10 minutes. And if I can do 15 minutes, hey, great, even more. But do something I love.
Yeah. And you're saying just do some movement. If it's walking up the stairs or walking down the stairs, doing your arms around, walking in the neighborhood, riding a bike, dancing, put on a great song and dance it out.
Brilliant. And get your mind a little bit kind of clear. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And you want to do it in a safe environment. You don't want to go out on the interstate and decide that's your place to walk, although we see people doing that. But it's better, find something, a place that you like to be, that you can kind of ease your mind, think about things. Some people like to listen to music. Some people like to listen to scripture while they walk and exercise. Yeah. All of those things, and it's almost a gift to us, isn't it? And I like what you said. We deserve it. Yes, you do. Absolutely, you deserve that time to do the thing that you like to do.
Yeah. Aren't you worth it? You worth it? Are you worth doing 10 minutes a day to try to save your life? Because heart attacks and strokes are fatal, can be fatal. And for you to, not only save your life, but preserve the quality of your life.
Absolutely.
To preserve the quality of your life.
Well stated. And it's also, we're talking about heart attacks and strokes, certainly hypertension, but also diabetes is right there too, that contributes to that. And so as you do something like exercise, physical activity, whatever, you're also doing something for your blood pressure, for your diabetes, as well as preventing the heart attacks and strokes. And so it's just easy. Plus, I really like what you're saying. You deserve that little bit of time to enjoy yourself and to clear your mind a little bit, clear your head.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the comorbidities, the diabetes, high blood pressure, because that was going to be my next question. Because of course, this show is sponsored by the Diabetes Action Council, In It Together SC, which is an initiative to help people with pre-diabetes and diabetes. So I was going to ask, taking care of your heart, being conscientious of your heart health, how does that affect people with other conditions, like again, high blood pressure and diabetes? It go hand in hand, right?
I think it goes very, very hand in hand. And so when you're getting exercise, you're getting something. Well, in the simplest of it, you're not eating. So in one sense, you're taking this, you're burning up calories instead of intaking calories. You're getting something. You're enjoying yourself. You're getting your mental state a little bit better. But you're also watching your weight. It lowers your blood pressure. It lowers your A1C, and it lowers your risk of having a heart attack and a stroke. And you're doing all of that, and it's a very positive type of thing. And it's, you can do this. It should be very, very cost effective. Many of the things that we're discussing doesn't cost anything, and there's just almost a total benefit.
Yeah. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday. Every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID, Dr. Daniel Lackland with MUSC joins us. We're talking about heart health. When should you begin being aware of your heart health, Dr. Lackland?
A brilliant question. And I think we're learning so very much that we can now look at a child, for that matter, we've even done a little bit of work where you're actually looking at an infant. And if you start to kind of think that, boy, these habits, lifestyle, how we're living and everything is already there. But there's also signs, even in very young children, of potential risk that might be coming about. And as you said, we have, so many of us have genetic risks that are already right there at the beginning. Right. So developing that, being aware of heart disease, being aware of stroke, being aware of the risk factors that are there, but more importantly, being aware of a healthy lifestyle and healthy behavior. That it's take children out. It's a lot of fun. I take the grandchildren out for a walk with me, and they're kind of picking up there. So, well, what we do is I go walk with granddaddy for a couple of for 10, 15 minutes. That's what we do every day, and kind of talk and communicate. Those kinds of things, bringing that at that very early age, and in particular what the diet is. Many of us, myself included, I love the foods that I ate when I was a teenager and a child. I just love it if you gave it a plate. Some of those, God bless my mother, but some of those were probably not very, very healthy. And I know that now. But, bringing that at as a child at an early age. And it's also something that we live with in this case, and everyone has shown it. If you're in your 90s, God bless you, that's great. But a healthy lifestyle can help you, is beneficial to the 90-year-old, just like it is to the 9-month-old.
Absolutely. Let me ask you about conditions as a child. I remember when I was a little girl, I had a heart murmur.
Me too.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Do those kind of conditions have a significance in your heart health as you grow older?
The murmurs that's an interesting one. Many of us have a heart murmur, and that can be detected. In fact, when I went for my physical just a few months ago, my physician said, "Oh, you have a heart murmur." I said, "Yeah, I've had it for some time," and that kind of thing. He said, "So we've detected it." But for most of us, the heart murmur is something you want to kind of be aware of that you do have. And in most cases, it should be not a problem for us. There are other conditions that as we get older, sometimes these conditions, but being aware like you are that you have this, right, seeing if it can still be detected and being able to monitor it. Again, it's that awareness that you've brought out, being aware and responsible for your health. It's a great question.
What about high or low heart rate? That's another thing I had. I had a very low heart rate at one point, to the point where a physician even considered putting in a pacemaker.
Yes.
And this was, maybe 10, 15 years ago. I ended up not having to have one.
Right.
But that's your heart too. Are those also factors that affect your heart health as it relates to stroke and heart attacks?
It certainly could. And again, the important thing is you're bringing up here, being aware that you have these kinds of conditions, because
Right.
sometimes, something may go a bit awry, but you being aware that you do have some of these conditions. I think the heart rates are really kind of good when you certainly a very high rate is there, a very low rate. But being aware of what your heart rate is, what kind of conditions that you have. So that way, if you see something change, or if you go into your doctor and say, "Oh my, it looks like your heart rate is down." And in your case, forgive me, but as you said, I had that 15 years ago. And okay, this is not something that all of a sudden came up. And so
Right,
being
right.
aware of our health, heart rate, blood pressure, hemoglobin A1C, being aware of those values for me, I'm able to discuss that with my physician. If I see something that's really in kind of a change, then we kind of take it forward. And that's where you're being the most proactive and taking the best care of your health.
Yeah. How often do you check on your heart health? Do you go to the doctor? Well, when you do, can you just do it on your regular, every 3 to 6 months checkup, or is it something you should do monthly, weekly, daily?
Trailer, I love it. I love this direction because I think it's so good. Let's just take blood pressure. So we have a blood pressure device, and we encourage people to get a good blood pressure device and measure their blood pressure at home. And so if you've measured it daily, it's we're just looking at a very short period of time. You want to measure it at the same time every day. You want an empty bladder. There's a number of different ways to look, but very, very quickly. And then that way I can call my doctor and say, "Doctor, all of a sudden my blood pressure has been focused around 126. And now all of a sudden I'm up at 130, and he or she can say, oh, we need to come in and check that out." And if we think about telehealth and telemedicine, which is why I like what you're doing so much, if my doctor understands, my doctor does it, I give my numbers that I measure at home to my doctor. And he's told me a couple of times, you don't need to come in to get your prescription changed. I'll just refill it because your blood pressure is under control and you're measuring it at home when I'm not so scared. Some of us like me, every time I go to the doctor, even though he's a very good friend, my blood pressure goes up. I'm a white coat hypertensive. and many of us are, but so measuring that at home, having that kind of information that we measured at home, knowing my weight, knowing my blood pressure, other things that I can measure at home, and can also maybe delay me from having to go to the doctor.
Right.
Pay those bills.
Dr. Daniel Lackland joins us. He's over at MUSC. We're talking about heart health. Before you leave, Dr. Lackland, I want to ask you, what are the signs that we need to be conscientious about to tell if we are having a problem or maybe heading toward stroke or heart attack?
Okay, it's great. So certainly the things that we mentioned, many of us heard for stroke, for example, it's called FAST, which stands for your face, your ability to speak, almost anything that feels out of the normal. And also it's important for loved ones and people with the family to watch you too, because sometimes if you're having a stroke, you can't convey something is wrong. You're looking, I know with my mother, we looked at it and all of a sudden she just couldn't write. And we noticed that she couldn't write and she didn't understand what we were saying. We were looking at her and telling. So it's important to know that those signs are there. Certainly with heart attacks, so that's certainly the chest pain, different other types of directions that you can see that's happening. But we can also take it a little bit further. When we just don't feel well, we're feeling dizzy, we're feeling I don't really feel right. And then even more so as I'm measuring my blood pressure and things like this, when my blood pressure starts going up and I'm not really doing anything to make it go up, and having those kinds of pieces. So almost things that are not normal, and that's a good place to go. But to the point of symptoms, we have so much technology now, these clot busters, for example, where we can take a stroke, take a heart attack, and if I got care properly, I can dissolve that clot, and it can almost be like I never had it. And it's a miracle drug that we have. So when you have those symptoms, the thing to do is you pick up the phone and call 911, not somebody that might know something about health or somebody that you got to find. And when you're picking up here, you're saying call 911, getting them into medical care. We all know we don't want to embarrass ourselves and go for no care, but the way our system is right now and the way we are, we want to seek that care, because if we get to the hospital within basically a 4-hour window, we can almost pretend it's almost like we never had it. And that's such a great miracle of medicine.
That's great. That is awesome. Dr. Daniel Lackland with MUSC, it's always a pleasure to have you. So great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to ask you one more. I said the last question was the last question, but if you don't mind, I want to ask you one last question.
It's fun, Trey.
Because you're an epidemiologist also. And I want to ask you a little bit about the couple of things. The new drug that is being tested now or seeking approval for the COVID vaccine for kids under 5 years old.
Yes. I think we're going to get some of those results. The good side, from a while back when we were first talking about this, we had certainly hoped we were going to not have this conversation anymore. We were going to hope that COVID was something we would tell our children about and grandchildren. But clearly that hasn't been the case. But on the kind of good side, that direction, we're learning something every day. And so that's a great piece. So we're learning something about the vaccines. We're learning something about the treatment new every day. And we're getting better where we can be precise.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to answer those questions. Is it good for, should any of us get who should get the vaccine? Who should get it in there? Should you get a booster? We're learning something every day, Trey. Every day we're getting more precise so that we can answer that question even better. And the same way with the treatment. What it does seem like, though, is that where we were so concerned when we were first talking about people dying, that people were going with long COVID, horrible types of things, that really seems to be getting better. So it kind of looks like COVID might be with us for a bit longer. But when we also have the cold is with us, we also have flu. We have flu with us. And so this is probably going to be one more. And so I think we're going to get more and more precise as we treatment, just like we have with cold and flu. And so we'll learn more. But I think if we were thinking we're going to eradicate it like we did smallpox, probably not.
Probably not. Wow.
But we're getting better, and we're learning so much more about the conditions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, one other thing I read today that Pfizer and another company is seeking approval today for the booster shot for children, kids 5 through 12. So those are things, as you say, that COVID will be around.
Yes.
And we will, hope and pray and believe that testing will continue to happen and more updates and more advances in treatment will and prevention will take place too.
You're exactly right. One thing we are seeing, though, is, and everyone is seeing, for example, I had COVID not too long ago. Now I've had all of my shots and everything else. I had it, and I certainly didn't feel well, and I would never wish it on anybody, but the vaccine did help. I feel very strongly that the symptoms were bad, but they were not
not life-threatening.
They weren't life-threatening. And one other little minor piece, I don't mean to get too personal with it, but I didn't have any of the digestive things that it seems like some of the people that have not gotten the vaccinations, when they get the COVID, they tended to have all the intestinal aspects of it as well. So, and I don't know, that's just me talking and this kind of stuff. But I think we're going to get to a much better place than we were when you and I first started talking about this.
Yeah, here's hoping. So I tell you, it's such a hope that that is the case. Dr. Daniel Lackland, epidemiologist with MUSC, thank you again so much for joining us, and we appreciate you sharing your wealth of information. Thank you, Dr. Lackland.
Every time. Thank you very much. Bless
All
everybody.
right.
Thank you.
In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. Listen, if you have a story or initiative that could help someone cope with COVID, please email booking@copingwithtreTailor.com. Booking@copingwithtreTailor.com. That information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If you have a product or service that could help someone cope with COVID, please email copingwithtreTailor@gmail.com. We would love for you to be a proud sponsor, just like In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council, who sponsor Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. Also, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office, Attorney Byron Gibson, No Justice, No Peace, every second Thursday. Also, Agape Counseling and Training Services. If you know someone who's having some challenges coping with COVID, please contact the folks at Agape Counseling and Training Services. Black Pages Black Expo. They are coming to town. Well, they're already in town. May 20th and 21st. The Taste of Black Expo is that Friday. And then the expo is that Saturday, featuring Kiki Sheard, Anthony Anderson, and more. Also, we are thankful to be sponsored by the Comet Bus System and Computers Unique Dutch Square Mall. Now, tomorrow we'll talk with twin doctors, Twana Robertson and LaWanda Strawbridge. They have opened a new facility in Columbia, South Carolina, and we are going to talk with them. And then Friday, Dr. Marvella Ford with MUSC joins us to discuss why it's important for diversity in clinical trials. Diversity means why people with more melanin in their skin, ethnicities, should participate in clinical trials. We'll talk to her on Friday. As always, I leave you with a reading from Conversations with God. It's from Cheryl Mims Williams with Agape Counseling and Training Services. The beautiful thing about this journal that I like is that it is a combination of some of her writings, some of her journal writings, along with scripture. This says, "Father, forgive me for worrying about my own plans and not those of you. I pray that your plans are my plans and that they will develop before my very eyes. Don't be selfish. Don't live to make a good impression on others. I am at work within you, helping you to want to obey me and helping you to do what I want you to do. Stay away from complaining and arguing." That is our reading today from Conversations with God from Cheryl Mims Williams with Agape Counseling and Training Services. I'm Tre Tailor. Thank you again so much for joining us today on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. Next Wednesday on Wellness Wednesday, we are going to start a series on container gardening, getting you ready to grow and plant and eat your own fruits and vegetables. So we start that series next Wednesday on Wellness Wednesday. Listen, thank you again so much for joining us. Until the next time, I wish you peace, abundant blessings. Take care, stay well, God bless, and wear your mask over your nose and under your chin. We'll see you soon.
Coping with COVID and In It Together SC present Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina and DHEC's Division of Diabetes and Heart Disease Management.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.